What's going on? It's Friday, January 22nd. You know what this show is. You know who I am. I'm Garrett Sims, and this is the podcast. Little sirens going off. Pew, 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 pew. I'm just trying to be funny, guys. It's Friday. I am so excited. I'm heading home for the weekend. I get to see my guys. And I just couldn't be more excited. I know I got a long drive ahead of me. It's going to suck because for those of you that don't know, I go to college 3 hours away from my hometown. It's really not that bad of a drive, so I'm not trying to sound like a little girl about it. Like, oh my god, it's so long. But the turnaround, I'm going to leave today after I get done with this podcast. I'm packed up. I'm ready to go. I'm going to a friend's gender reveal party. I'm so excited about that. Super excited. Been my best friend for a very long time. And it's just crazy to think about that, that's where we're moving towards in life. It's growing up and getting to that next step. And I'm so excited. I'm excited for him. I'm excited, for that whole, next step. But like I was saying, so it's such a quick turnaround because I'm going back today. It's going to be a 3-hour drive. Probably by the time I leave and stuff like that, I'll arrive back home, if I'm lucky, for 4:30. If I can leave by 2. And then I'd have to turn around Sunday night because I'm going to watch the Chiefs game. I turn around Sunday night and leave and probably not get back here till 11. Or I can leave Monday morning, get a shower and stuff, leave Monday morning, and then, get ready for class on Monday because I have to be back by Monday. But, it's just such a quick turnaround because you're 6 hours of driving for, really, if you really want to look at it, 1 full day of not having to worry about anything, maybe 2, depending on when I leave. Enough about me, and stupid driving, okay? Actually, I went to criminology class. For those of you that don't know, I'm a journalist major. I minor in criminology, and I took a course this semester called Crim 220. Originally, they had a class where it was you get to talk about serial killers and watch videos and what makes a serial killer and stuff like that, and I was super excited. So when I went to sign up and I couldn't get it, I was a little upset. So I took Crim 220. It's Introduction to the Criminal Justice System, and I find it hilarious because today I just zoned out. I'm sitting in class and I'm just giving my teacher the biggest blank stare, and I don't think he even noticed. I don't even think he cared. And for some reason, my mind just went to Dexter. If anybody's ever watched Dexter, it is probably one of the greatest TV series that I have ever watched. A lot of people like Game of Thrones and stuff, other things of that nature. But I seriously think Dexter from seasons 1 through 7, even to that, up until the last 2 episodes of 8, was the most well-written, put-together show I have ever watched. And that's where my mind went to. I'm blanking out in the middle of class, and for some reason, I'm just thinking about Dexter, and I'm like, dude, how crazy would it be if, people, I'm not trying to go all dark and stuff, but how crazy would it be if, there were people like Dexter that actually lived in the United States and, followed the same rules he did? Because for those of you that have watched the show, he has a rule. He only takes out people that are bad. He has a certain way of doing it. A certain kind of, how you say, not setup, but ritual on how he kills them. Then he cuts them up, and then he drops them off at sea in his boat, and lets the current take them away wherever they go to. And I was just sitting in class, I'm like, dude, what happens if this actually works? Somebody is doing it, and nobody has any clues. How crazy that would be that somebody's following a TV show and it's working. Because I'm you never hear anybody caught about it. You've never said, oh, the Dexter killer's been caught. And it could just be, nobody's stupid enough to try it. But if there was, because I feel along the line, somebody would have to be dude, I'm going to try it. And I just couldn't wrap my mind around if it would actually work or not. I'm baffled. And you guys could be well, that's just stupid. Why would somebody kill somebody that's a bad guy for no reason, and just like the amount of money and effort it would take, and the amount of precision. But I mean, obviously, if you're gonna do it, you would have to do it right. Like you would, I mean, you would have to follow all those steps and then hope it worked. But I mean, I'm laughing at it. It just intrigued me today during class because I was bored out of my mind. I didn't want to show up, and I just ended up zoning out. So that's if anybody asks what type of student I am, that's probably the top answer I'd give you. It's actually a beautiful Friday. I mean, it is the most beautiful day I've seen. It's nice and cool. It's probably for somebody that gets cold real easy, a light sweater day. For me, it's about a t-shirt. I could probably wear a short sleeve, maybe even shorts if I really felt like it. Today I felt like dressing up, so I threw on a pair of jeans. But I mean, it is super, super nice. And it makes me sad because I know the weather's only going to get worse. Like the days I have to come back, it's going to be raining and stuff, and I don't want it to turn into snow, but there's a chance. And I mean, it's going to be an awesome weekend. I mean, truly going to be an awesome weekend because for a dude, at least for me or sports fans, you got Championship Sunday. And I mean, that's all I should have to say. But I mean, you got Championship Sunday and beautiful weather. I mean, it just, new start to the whole year. I'm just ready for it. Like, I'm just so relaxed. Got most of my homework done. That way I don't have nothing to worry about, so that's really exciting. I'm really hoping. Okay, I'm checking out my phone because I talked about it last night. I accidentally deleted. I didn't delete it, but I didn't have it set up the right way. Like, I streamed a whole 30-minute long podcast, which I thought was my best podcast I've ever did. Like, I stood back and was like Picasso, and I'm like, dang, that looked really good. Like, I was like from top to bottom, the stuff we talked about. I had 30 minutes of undivided attention from, my friend Cade, and he had provided some great content. And, I was thinking about it. I was like, dude, like, that's where it led me to today. I was like, you know what? I'm a podcast. Like, the name of my show is podcast. It's not sports podcast. It's not vlog podcast. It's not food podcast. So, why not just talk about everything? Talk about what's happening in your life. And it led me to the conclusion of what I talked about last night. Like, I want my job to be like I'm talking to somebody, like to sit down and you get to hear what's going on and some of the fun things that happen in my life, because trust me, I will mess up like that. I will mess up. I will delete my single greatest stream that I ever had, and I'll do stupid stuff like that, and I find it hilarious. Like, right before I got on, we just had a jam sesh, man. I'm telling you what. I'm probably what's going through your head, like, what music were you listening to? Because, like, the song has to be a banger in order for you to just get wild. Like, there's certain songs you turn on and you're like, I can get freaking turned to this. We were listening to Goofy Goober by SpongeBob. The nostalgia that it brought was awesome. I mean, it was really, really fun. Like, for, like, I would say 3 minutes. I think I was jumping on our spare bed. I was just like, yeah. I don't know. I'm also excited because the McGregor fight. I'm kind of excited to see how that goes. I think McGregor wins it, no doubt. Like, I'm not a big UFC guy. Like, I've gotten into it more and more now that I understand it a lot. Like, I've understood a little bit. Like, I like talking about boxing. I like watching it. I like watching UFC, and I've kind of learned to like the sport a lot more. And I'm really not trying to rat myself out like I did anything illegal, but for the Jake Paul, Nate Robinson fight, I was scrolling through TikTok, and somebody was live streaming it, like illegally live streaming it, and I was like, I mean, I knew my buddy had it on at his house, but I still wanted to, like, watch it. Like, I didn't want to have to go over there to watch it. So I'm sitting there and I watched what was, like, a minute or two fight of just bear hugging and throwing a couple punches. I watched that illegally. So hopefully that doesn't put me behind bars for saying that, because if anybody asked, I was just scrolling through TikTok. But just so much good things happening. So many good things. And then, moving into this weekend, I just hope everybody has a great weekend. I hope, they just have a weekend in which everybody can relax, everybody can have a good time, and, there doesn't need to be, fighting. Just sit down, enjoy sports with the loved ones. If you're a Bills fan, know that you're probably going to lose. But if you do lose, it's okay because, you had to expect it. Patrick Mahomes is going to play. There's no doubt in my mind. He was good. He was practicing yesterday. He'll probably practice today and then get ready Saturday to whoop up on Bills Mafia. And let me just say, it is going to be a very sad Monday if there's a turn of events that I'm not expecting at all. Like I said last night, I had Kate on. He had Xavier with him, so. I mean, you guys wouldn't know who Xavier is because obviously I didn't stream the video that I should have streamed. That's just a bad job on my part. But, and I was telling my friends, I was like, I told them this entirely grand scheme. Like, this is stupid. Like, the entire premise behind this is, and I'm just going to give you a backstory because I promised you guys a very good story to make up for it, and I don't know how good this story is because I don't want to start throwing out the aces in my deck because once you start throwing out the aces in your deck, then you start running out of good content to talk about. But I'm just going to give you the gist. My senior year, my buddy Caleb and his mom bought a house in our town, and it was right behind our middle school. And, that place was the funnest place to go. Like, when we knew we had nothing going on, you would go to Caleb's. Without a doubt. And everybody would just hang out there. It was like the group hangout. Like, the parents hated us because we would stay up all night playing Rock Band. I mean, it doesn't sound something like that'd be like, you guys were playing Rock Band? Hell yeah, we were playing Rock Band. That stuff's so much fun. We still have it. It was on the PS2. But, I mean, that's just the stuff we do. We stay up all night. We'd have Nerf battles. We would play Rock Band. We would do some other fun activities. Play Call of Duty, Fortnite, Siege, just stuff like that. Like, and sometimes we would have 3 to 4 PS4 set up throughout the entire house, and we would just all be playing. And, like, we'd be screaming through different rooms like, oh, he's in here, he's in here, he's in here. And they're just grinding out video games. I mean, it was just so much fun. And literally within a year, I mean, that's the best way I can describe it. Within a year, the house was bought and it was sold. And, the hangout place was kind of gone. And ever since then, like, I'm not saying that we don't hang out, because we do. We hang out a lot more than what I think we probably should. But, that hangout spot was gone. And, I mean, seriously, when you talk about a house that could unite a bunch of people, like, anybody could walk into that house and we would just have a good time. Like, I mean, that's seriously what it boiled down to. And I was talking to Cade last night. I was like, dude, I said, if this podcast, and I mean this with 100% sincerity in my heart and 100% promise to anybody who's listening, and I'll tell my friends, like, if this podcast takes off and I am so fortunate enough to make money and make enough money to make this a living, which is anybody's dream, I said I would go buy that house. I said within a heartbeat I would go up to whatever family's living in there. I would offer them in cash right now to buy the house. And I would go on a rampage to put it the way it was. I would get the same table, the same couch. I would have Caleb put his bed back in, and I would set up a YouTube studio in the one room. And I mean, it's not like it's like this really great mansion house that's like super expensive. But I mean, like, the memories, and anybody can vouch for this, the memories that are made in a home, regardless of what type of home it is, and it doesn't even have to be a home, a place where good memories are shared has a hell of a lot of value. And, I had seen that place personally. Like, I remember my first night there, and, they were just moving stuff in, and, I might get emotional talking about this because that's just how much, hanging with the boys means to me. And, I'd seen that place when there was no furniture in there. We used to play a game called Spike Ball. We throw a ball up against the wall and try to catch it and stuff like that. Like, it was just so crazy. And then you seen it go throughout and all the way up until like it was fully furnished, everything was moved in, and then I helped move stuff out of it and stuff like that. And it's just so sad because the memories that are there will never be forgotten. And I just hope one day that like even if we're all like 35, 40, that we can just go in that house one more time and just play a couple more games of Call of Duty, or have another Nerf battle, or all the fun things we used to do, Spike Ball, whatever it is. So that's my promise. I mean, you seriously want to know what I'm about? That's one of my biggest goals that I'll ever have. Like, I would buy that house just to have it. Like, and I think that's, some people would be like, why would you buy a house if you barely even live it and stuff like that, And I'd just be like, dude, it would be just so cool. A, to have that much money where it wouldn't matter, and B, just buy a place that means so much to you and your friends. And we had a full-on, discussion about that, and you're like, let's do it. And I said, let's do it. Like, let's make this, like, I'm going to go 100%, and I'm going to try my very best at making a goal. Okay, moving off that, I talked about my friends. I kind of have, I don't want to sound like a loser and say that I have a policy, but I kind of have like this open door policy. Like, I love my friends enough to where if they ever want to be on, like, I've done it before. I did it with Cade the first Thursday, and he just called me. I put it on speaker. I rested it up against my mic, and the audio actually sounded really good. And that's just taking advantage of buying the right equipment, and the equipment that will help you out starting, and very good equipment that can pick up stuff like that. So, my buddy Lincoln, I don't want to put out anything out there because nothing's written in stone, but I'm going to have my buddy Lincoln on. Me and Lincoln have been friends for so long, and, it just means a lot that he cares enough that he would want to come on to my podcast, because that just means a lot to me. It really does. And we're gonna have a poker night Saturday, and I haven't told any of them this. I have no clue how to play poker. The only thing I know how to play is 21, and that's about the only thing I know. If you ask me how to play poker or gin or rummy or any of those card games, I'd have no clue. I can play Go Fish and I can play 21. That's really about it. So I know there's like a full house thing. There's like, I don't know. So if somebody would like to teach me, that would be fantastic. Because I just don't want to have to pay a buy-in and just be embarrassed and lose a crap ton of money. So I guess I just put it out there, but I don't know. Let me tell you what. And I was working out yesterday. I'm not working out today because obviously I gotta leave. I gotta stop talking about me leaving, because it gets repetitive at some point. But I like to work out. I would not consider myself a gym rat, but I would say that I like working out every day. It's like a part of my life that I have been doing since 8th grade, and I love it. I love the benefits of it. And as you get older, you start to understand the stuff that you laughed at, because you're like, oh, how would this do anything? Like, you start to realize like the point of it all. And I've recently got into boxing, and I was blessed by my father to have a little bit of like anger problems where I can just get angry super easily for no reason. And I'm telling you what, if you're looking for a great workout to build up cardio and endurance, and I don't know how much it like actually helps with strength, but you can get like a little resistance if you get heavy weighted gloves. I know it helps some muscle toning. I'm telling you right now, boxing is a great way. Like, I've done it, I think 2 weeks now. I think since I've came back, I've done it at least 4 times a week. And I'm telling you right now, if you guys are looking for a great workout, like you're done with arms, or you're done with legs, if you're doing your hang cleans, if you're doing shoulders, you're done doing abs, and you're like, man, I just want to do something else. I'm telling you, boxing is the way to go. They say all the time, they're like, don't do running, don't do cardio, because all cardio does is it just builds up the heart. It doesn't really help with weight loss or toning or anything like that. I'm not a gym professional. I'm not a doctor. I couldn't tell you if that's for sure or not. But if it is true, I mean, I'm telling you right now, you could seriously get the same amount of cardio workout with boxing as you could with running if you just go hard. Like, if you seriously put your mind to it and go as hard as you can. Say you start one day at 3 minutes and you go as hard as you can for 3 minutes and you're gassed. Keep doing 3 minutes until you can push for 4, until you can push for 5, I'm an advocate of, I think you should do some type of physical activity every day. At least some form of it, whether it's boxing, whether it's taking a walk, whether it's jogging, whether it's sprints, even if it's a quick set of abs, I think you should be doing something every day. Not to sound like a gym teacher, because, that just sounds ridiculous. Like, gym teacher G money, I would do that. I would be a gym teacher. I would love to be a personal trainer. But I don't think I could listen to myself personal train myself. Like, if I'm just sitting behind there like, dude, you're not going low enough on the squats, I'd be like, this son of a biscuit, dude. He's telling me how low I should go on my squats. That probably sounded a lot stupider than it sounds in my head. I don't know. But I woke up this morning and I watched this show called Wandavision. It's part of the MCU, the greatest franchise of movies ever. They decided to take on a new take with going with a series, and people have been bashing it. I mean, there's people that are like, oh, this isn't like what we're used to. Like, oh, how dare you shove this down. It's actually really, really good. Like, it kind of reminds me of a parody, but there's so much detail in it that it doesn't feel like a parody. Like, I know one episode they kind of, I think they said that it was kind of like the Dick Van Dyke Show was the first one that was kind of based off. Then it was Bewitched, and then this, I think, next one was the 70s, if I'm correct. So I think it was like, I think I said something like the Brady Bunch or whatever. Never watched any of those. But I mean, seriously, if you look at the detail that's put in and the way they're doing it, and you just understand, like, trust the process on it, like, it's a really good show. It is so good. And I don't want to spoil anything, because I couldn't tell you an Easter egg if it was thrown at my face. I could just tell you that I've enjoyed watching it so far, and I'm 3 episodes in because there's only 3 episodes. I think there's supposed to be a total of 8. So I think they released 2, then they'll release 1 up until. So we'll have 6 weeks, 5 weeks now, of just one video. And I'm excited because this sets up everything. I mean, it sets up the Spider-Man movie that's coming out. It's setting up Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. It is entirely setting up Phase 4. And the only thing, seriously, the only thing I could ask for out of this is if we please get Vision back. Because I have seen so much character growth out of Paul Bettany's character that he's becoming a fan favorite in my opinion. Like, I'm sitting there, I'm like, man, I didn't really like Vision. I was kind of like, he's kind of like an okay character. He's very weird. But now you're seeing this, like, new, and I get it. I get the idea of what's going on, that it might not actually be Vision. It might be like an alternate reality. But I mean, like, I'm just enjoying this so much. Like, I'm enjoying this version of Vision. And I'm excited. I'm a big Marvel fan. I can sit down and enjoy a good movie. But I feel like I just had to talk about that because that show is getting way more heat than it should for being super good. And then, I don't want to get off topic. I don't want to, like, swing around and hit a bunch of things, but I mean, I guess that's what I'm going to do anyway. The NFL has been super weird lately. I'm going back and I'm looking at the coaching hires. I'm like, this is who they hired? I'm not trying to be weird about it by any means. But, I mean, you look at some of the guys they hired. The Lions hired a dude that wants to eat somebody's kneecaps. You would think that would be something that you'd be worried about. But, I guess if you watch the video in full context, you'll get the point he's trying to make, even though it was portrayed very, very poorly. I'm telling you, telling you, it's just weird because I feel like there was a couple of guys that should have got, like Eric Bieniemy should get a job. I don't want him to leave. I'll be the first advocate to tell you that I do not want Eric Bieniemy leaving the Chiefs because he is just too good. I want to see him take over for Andy Reid. And I think the way he's got to look at it at this point is like, okay, if you're not going to sign me, I'm just going to stay here and be the Chiefs head coach when Andy Reid's done. You know, if that's in 6 years, if, you know, it's 8, you know, it just kind of depends on where Andy Reid's at. But, you know, there's a lot of heat because I think he should be hired. There's no doubt in my mind he should be. I seriously think the Houston Texans, there's a good chance that they will, because it's who Deshaun Watson wanted, and I feel like if they can get him, they might get Deshaun Watson back on their side a little bit. Like, listen, we got you the coach you wanted. Like, you said you wanted Eric Bieniemy. We're going to get you Eric Bieniemy. So, you know, I think that's really all I have. Like I said, I apologize so much for being so ignorant as to not streaming the correct way. Guy named William just said, "Sup, man." I'm glad you took a chance to check out the channel. You know, have a great weekend, guys. That's the most I can say. I hope that by listening to me, you know, I hope that I can inspire you to put a smile on your face every day. I hope you have a great day. It's going to be a beautiful weekend. Get out and enjoy it. Don't take a minute for granted. You know, be who you are. Love everything around you. Don't take it for granted. And as for that, guys, I will see you. Actually, what type of stuff do I do on my channel? I call it podcast because it's kind of a podcast. But, you know, I just talk about things. Like, I talk about sports. I talk about funny stories that have happened in my life. I have my friends on to talk about the stupid shit we've done. You know, like the stupid stuff that you wouldn't think that people should do that we do. So, I mean, I'd feel honored if you subscribed. If you want, check out some of the other videos. I'm kind of trending more towards, you know, just being a podcast, talking about things. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate it. William, you have a wonderful weekend. Everybody, have a wonderful weekend. My name is Garrett Sims. This has been the podcast. I will see you guys on Monday. Thank you for joining in.